So you have the fourth installment of 2 Kings for me today. Yes, sir, I do. And we're picking up right where we left off last time, with Aram going back to hostilities with Israel moments after you said there was peace between them. Well, what I actually said was, the bands from Aram stopped raiding Israel's territory. And then the very next sentence was, sometime later, Ben-Hadad, king of Aram, mobilized his entire army and marched up and laid siege to Samaria. Correct. You don't find the tone of those two consecutive sentences to be wildly at odds with one another? Hell no, I'm a great writer. Well, okay then. So the siege by Aram leads to food prices rising so sharply in Samaria that a donkey head sells for 80 shekels of silver. We paid just 2 shekels for one last week. I know, sir. See how I incorporated that into my story? Oh, wow. I am a great writer. It makes the story so relatable. Just what we're going for in a document meant to inspire for millennia. No doubt it will, my talented friends. So what happens next? The king of Israel is walking along a wall one day during the siege when this woman gets his attention because she wants to file a complaint. About what? Well, the siege has caused this famine, right? And food prices are super high, like we said. Right. Hey, wait a second. Yes? Just have God blind the Arameans again. What? The blindness spell that you used in our last meeting, literally just a few sentences ago. Oh, right. Remember, it's the spell that's going to make Israel an unstoppable juggernaut. Yes, I remember, but here's the thing. We're not using it. We're not? Like, ever again. Why not? I don't know. Oh, establishing a game-changing power only to never use it again is tight. Yeah. Hey, since there's a famine and God is choosing not to blind any armies laying siege to his precious chosen people, maybe he could use the abundant food where there appears to be very little miracle. Yeah, no, he's not going to do that either. Why not? So the plot can happen. Oh, okay, I didn't realize. Right. So it turns out that the woman's complaint is that she was approached by another woman suggesting that they cook and eat the first woman's son. Oh my God. And the idea was that they would cook and eat the second woman's son the next day. So the woman asked the king to lock up this obviously deranged person. No, they cooked and ate the first woman's son. What? But then the second woman reneged on the deal by hiding her son away. So this makes the king very upset, and he vows to decapitate Elisha. Back up a second. God damn it. What the hell? What? You've got a scene in there where a woman willingly kills, cooks, and eats her own child? Yes? And she shares this devil's stew with another woman? Well, yeah, but only on the condition that the other woman... And what she complains about to the king is that the other woman didn't do the same thing to her child. Yeah? And this didn't raise any red flags in your brain. Should it have? I mean, did you even attempt to set the stage for this horrific act? Oh, from what you've shared with me so far, there's been no indication of the severity of this famine beyond food prices rising. So do you see how out of place and jarring it is to see familial child cannibalism plopped into the narrative seemingly out of nowhere? Fine, I'll add a few lines about the duress everyone is under. It's going to require more than a few lines to explain a woman cooking and eating her own child, don't you think? Well, at the very least, she needs a name and a backstory. That sounds like a lot of work. Some compelling narrative to explain how she got to this point and what the hell God was doing during this ghastly episode of her life. Well, credit where credit's due. God did bless her with something to eat. God is so good. Always. So do all that and maybe this scene will work. I'll get to it later. Don't forget. I won't. So anyway, all this makes the king very upset and he wants Elisha dead. Oh yeah, and why is that? I'm guessing the king is pissed that Elisha wouldn't let him kill the Arameans when he had the chance. When they were blinded a few sentences ago. Hey, shut up. So when Elisha is in the king's presence, he tells him that the famine is going to end the next day. Isn't it going to be impossible to alleviate a famine in 24 hours? A famine that was severe enough that people were cooking and eating their own children. Actually, it's going to be super easy. Barely an inconvenience. Oh, really? Yep, God just uses one of his other Jedi mind tricks to scare off the enemy from their siege, and the Israelites plunder their abandoned supplies, and food prices drop to next to nothing, and everything is just great again. Wow, that was easy. Sure was. I'm a great writer. You sure are. but I've got a couple of questions. Are you going to have Yahweh use that particular Jedi mind trick in the future? It worked great. Nah, I don't know. That could be another game changer for God's chosen people. Look, sir, I'm going to need you to get all the way off my back about the comical inconsistency in God's use of his battle spells. Sure, let me get off that thing. Great. And secondly, how exactly are these supplies that the Arameans abandoned going to be enough to end an extreme famine? I don't understand. Well, armies during these primitive times, I hate it when you do mostly foraged for their food. They really didn't carry a lot with them. Don't worry about it. Oh, okay, I won't. And to cap this episode, there's an awesome I told you so moment at the end that's freaking hilarious. Do tell. Okay, so when Elisha made his seemingly crazy prophecy about the famine being resolved in a single day, there was this soldier who wondered aloud if such a thing would be possible even if God himself intervened. That's a pretty reasonable thing to wonder about, honestly. Well, God doesn't like the wondering. So Elisha prophesied that although the famine would end the next day, the soldier wouldn't get to partake in any of the soon-to-be abundant food. Oh, let me guess. The soldier fulfills Elisha's prophecy of not eating from the plundered supplies by traveling to other cities to spread the word about this glorious turn of events. Oh, that would be a clever way to fulfill the prophecy. Is that what you did? No, I have this guy getting trampled in the stampede of people trying to get to the food. A stampede. Yes, that is hilarious. I know, right? It's so hilarious. I repeat the whole story again right before the end of the chapter. Wow. I am a great writer. You're something else, that's for sure. Thank you. Any ideas for next time? I'd love a sneak preview. I thought we might revisit the Shunammite woman whose son Elisha brought back to life. Oh, are you finally going to do something with her son's resurrection story? No, she's just petitioning to have some property restored to her after being away for a while. You've brought her back into the narrative, not for the resurrection element, but instead to discuss her real estate. That does appear to be what I wrote. Interesting choice. But, maybe I should address the resurrection thing again. Yes, that's what I've been saying. I know resurrection needs to be a big deal, blah, blah, blah. Yes, let's give this kid a name, give him some sort of big Messiah story arc. Through him, you can show how Yahweh wants humanity to triumph over death. That would be pretty cool. Well, there you go. But it would be a lot of work. Oh, for God's sake. How about we do just another quickie resurrection story? Pardon me?